Kristen McMahon, president of the Robert H. Jackson Center, explained why remembering the history of the Frewsburg native and Nuremberg trial chief of counsel is so relevant today in understanding exactly what a war crime is.
He helped establish the crimes that were actually prosecuted there. He helped define those crimes, and those are still largely the same crimes that someone would be prosecuted under today.
The center participates in the International Humanitarian Law Roundtable, which brings together prosecutors to discuss challenges they are facing. They also host guest speakers, including the most recent, David Crane.
David Crane was actually the only other U.S. citizen who has ever been a chief prosecutor of an international tribunal, a founding chief prosecutor. And David was the chief prosecutor for the international trial at Sierra Leone. And that's actually called the UN Special Court for Sierra Leone.
The speaker also discussed the Russian aggression in Ukraine and how he would go about putting Vladimir Putin on trial. Crane, along with the group, released a white paper with a sample indictment. McMahon says that regardless of his physical presence at a trial, Putin could still be indicted and tried.
Having the number of countries that have come out and said that what President Putin has done is a war crime also really limits his freedom of movement. And to have the international community say this, the United States, most of the European nations, it's obviously very broad in that, really then limits his ability to go anywhere outside of Russia.
If indicted, Putin's effectiveness as a leader would significantly decrease, as his attendance at any major international summit would lead to his arrest. McMahon explained the major tenets of international war crimes, with the main rule being that civilians are off limits.
They are not combatants. They have not chosen to be a participant in this. This is something that has been forced upon them. And so especially the fact that the Russian forces seem to be targeting the evacuation routes, they are targeting the hospitals, they are targeting the schools. All of that seems to really bring into play, I would think, that he is ignoring that tenet of international law, and that brings it into the war crime.
Using the Nuremberg trials as a guide, McMahon says it is likely that Putin's high-ranking followers would also be indicted. However, it is likely that many do not know the truth behind the war.
The propaganda machine within Russia especially is very strong. And if that has been your only source of news for X number of years, when you think that Russia annexed the Crimea almost 8 years ago, so this has been a condition of at least the last 8 years, if not longer, of Ukraine should be part of Russia. Russia's only doing what it can to support the Russian citizens within Ukraine. And if that is the only news that you are hearing on a continuous basis, of course that's what you're going to believe because you've never seen the other side of it.
Julia Gress, WNY News Now.